Hey guys, what's happening? So I'm Paul from the Redmen TV, and here's my prediction of how Liverpool's season is going to go down 2017-18. First off, let me start with the League Cup then. I don't think we are going to take this competition seriously this year. That's not to say that in the early rounds, you know, we put out dead strong teams, but I think given the way that it went down with the semi-finals and the fixture congestion that we had in January last year and how badly that hampered what we were trying to do in the season, I think we will absolutely have a League Cup team, and I think that League Cup team will be nothing like the team that we see in Europe or in the big Premier League games. And I think you'll see that's the team that you'll see Oviajari figuring the most. I think we'll have a League Cup goalkeeper, whether that is Danny Ward or Loris Karius, and again players that are maybe on the fringe of Liverpool's team that are not likely to play on a week in, week out basis. Again, predominantly kids. And I think therefore we'll go into round 3 because we're in Europe. I think we'll get through the first round, but I think we'll go out in the 4th. Moving on then, FA Cup. Now, sliding doors scenario for me for FA Cup, either we do very similarly to what we always do in the FA Cup, and that's make very, very difficult work of it. If the manager wants to have a piece of silverware in the bank, I think we go stronger in this competition. But realistically, I think the only way we do go strong in this competition is if we're out of Europe. So if Liverpool go out of all European competition before Christmas, I think Liverpool will win the FA Cup this year. If we don't, again, I think we'll go out in the 3rd or 4th round. Champions League, and yes, this is going to be massively dated in a week or so's time, but that's the beauty of predictions, really, isn't it? Making yourself look like a knobhead on camera because football is unpredictable. If Liverpool qualify for the Champions League, if they get past Hoffenheim, I think they will make it to the last 16 of the competition. Again, without having any idea whether we get through Hoffenheim or who we're going to have in our group. Listen, if we end up in a group with Real Madrid, Juventus and Ajax or whatever, that might be a struggle. But you know what, I think what would represent a good season for Liverpool would be to get out of the groups and say, tick, there you go, we've proven we've done that, we've gone a step further than we did under Brendan Rodgers, and then, you know, it's the luck of the draw then and a two-legged game to decide whether you progress or not. But whether we can go further or not, I don't know. But prediction-wise, I'll go for the last 16. I'm going to come on to the league last, so I'm going to get through a few things in terms of the actual players themselves. Assists first. I think Liverpool's top 3 assisters for the season will be 3rd, Salah, 2nd, Firmino, 1st, Felipe Coutinho. I think he is going to be an assist machine this year, particularly if he plays in a more withdrawn attacking midfield central role. We've seen so many signs of this already in pre-season. The key master. People who watch Redmen for a number of years will get that reference. If you don't, we had a nickname for Phil Coutinho when we first signed him, and it was the key master. There was a t-shirt and everything. That may well come back. I see him being far more prevalent in his assists than his goal scoring this year, if that's the role that he plays. If he plays from the left, maybe less so, but that's the Phil I expect to see this season. And then moving on to goal scorers then, I have got it in the order like this. Number 3 in terms of top goal scorers for Liverpool this season will be Roberto Firmino. I expect him to play far more in his best position for Liverpool, and that's centrally. Far less of him being used on the left or occasionally on the right. If he's central, I think he'll get goals and assists, and I think he'll get more goals than he got last season. And if he's taking penalties as well, that's a few to add to the tally. So I think he'll be our 3rd highest goal scorer. I think 2nd will be Mohamed Salah. And then top goal scorer for the season will be Sadio Mane. I think he absolutely would have been top goal scorer last season if it hadn't been for the AFCON and missing the last month or so of the season. I think he was nailed on for it, and I think if he stays injury free and obviously not having the international commitments this time around, I think he's naturally the fit to be our top goal scorer this campaign. So awards for the season then, I think Liverpool's young player of the season is going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. Set for a breakout season. We discussed it on the build-up show this week. Watch that show if you haven't seen it already. But he just looks so good. He just looks physically ready, he looks strong, and he doesn't even need to play 40 games this season to be that. It could potentially, as an outside shout, be like a Dom Solanke or a Marco Grujic. But based on players who are most likely to play games and what I've seen in pre-season, I'm going for Trent Alexander-Arnold. And then player of the season, it was a toss-up last year between Phil and Mane, and I think I edged towards Phil last season because ultimately he was fit and available to contribute towards Liverpool finishing top 4 in the real fight at the end of the season. He was there and he was the guy who dragged us through, so I gave it to him personally last year. But I think this year again Sadio Mane would not just be top goal scorer, he'll come very high in the assists, and he's going to finish as Liverpool's player of the season. So the big one then, where do I think the mighty Reds are going to end up finishing in the Premier League? I think realistically, I think if Liverpool want to put together a decent fight on at least 2 fronts, and I want to see a good showing in the league and in the Champions League, there's no point in being good in the Champions League, and by that I mean getting out of the groups, if you're going to finish 5th or 6th in the league. It's utterly pointless. I'd rather in that instance have a bad group campaign and then be better. But no, I think Liverpool need to jettison the league, jettison the domestic cup competitions to make sure we can focus on one or the other. And if Liverpool do, as predicted, get to the last 16 of the Champions League, I think a 4th place finish would be decent. I don't think it would be open top bus tour time. There is no 4th place trophy after all, Arsenal fans, as much as you'd love it back if it was a thing, which it is to you, but not us. I think 4th would be a realistic expectation from Liverpool this season. I want more, I want higher, absolutely. If though, again, sliding doors, if Liverpool go out of European competition, or if they end up in the Europa League, I think we would take that competition less seriously, and I think we could put a much better title challenge together. And honestly, I think there's a couple of scenarios where Liverpool challenge for the title and could maybe win the league, and those scenarios are coming out of Europe early, which would be a disappointment, but also potentially signing a top quality centre-back between now and the window shutting, so that's Virgil van Dijk or another of that quality. And then, although Naby Keita looks dead, another top quality first team level centre mid, box to box or attacking midfield talent to cover Lallana, or to play again between the defensive midfield role and the attack. If we got those 2 players in terms of the squad depth and the talent available to us, I think we can compete very strongly on 2 fronts. But until I see those players, these are going to be my predictions for now. Can Liverpool win the league title? Of course we can. Of course we can. Why believe otherwise? Even though I've sort of tentatively predicted less. The fact of the matter is, everything's looking rosy on the pitch for Liverpool. We've got great players, we've got a great manager, we've got a great team ethic. We're building, we've not lost anyone from the great side of last season. In fact, we've added more depth in the attacking talent to that, and that's what I feel we were let down more than the defence. It was not being able to play at our highest level when we lost Mane, or we lost Lallana, or we lost Coutinho. Having a few more additions like Salah, like the likes of Solanke, like moving things around in midfield as well, should give Liverpool more firepower on a more consistent week in, week out basis. You know what, although I wouldn't expect it to happen, it is not outside the realms of possibility, and it means we should have a very exciting and very enjoyable season this year as Liverpool fans. Fingers crossed anyway. I've done some more predictions, so if you want to see more of my season, I've done Premier League predictions here over on my channel, which is Mates TV. You can watch that, and I was also lucky enough to interview Steven Gerrard on BT Sport. A segment of that is available on the YouTube channel there, so click there, watch that, subscribe to the Redmen TV, subscribe to Mates TV, and enjoy the season, Reds. It's going to be an amazing one.